You got me, okay? Y'all got me to watch this show. Now, I have not watched the original Sisters. I think back in the day when it was first premiering, I watched like the first 2 episodes of it, but I love deep, rich storylines, okay? Each of these women represents a lot of the audience. Tyler Perry know what he doing. Okay. Now I watched the first 2 episodes. I'm on episode 3. Okay. But we just gonna get into the first couple from a therapist perspective. I don't know what's gonna happen. Okay. So this gonna be a test of if I know what I'm really doing. Seeing I haven't seen the rest of the episodes. Looking at these from a holistic perspective, looking at divorce, what does it mean to really be trying to start your life over, the aftermath of divorce? Even when sometimes you think your life is together compared to your friends, is it really together? And there are a lot of themes also in this show of sisterhood. We've seen that more and more and more. Conversations about sisterhood, what does it really mean? What does it really look like? I feel like it's coming to the surface a lot more in female dynamics, female friendships. And for me, I feel like sisterhood in Black female relationships is to me totally different than in other cultures, communities. Now, as a Black woman myself, heading towards 40, okay, what does it mean now in my life as a married woman with 2 kids, a career, trying to juggle it all? What does sisterhood mean? What does community, friendships all mean now compared to when I was probably in my 20s? Something completely different. The me today knows what I need in friendships and relationships and knows back then it wasn't the same. And how people have too much access to me at times. And I had to rethink and reprioritize what am I pouring myself into because I don't have time. I really don't. I value my time. And so let's get into it. I want to know from you guys the person you are now, maybe in your 30s, late 20s, you might be in your early 20s. Are you discovering what community means? What sisterhood means? What do you need in your life today? Especially those of us who are getting closer to 40s, those of us who are being closer to um, a different age. Okay. What does he want? Now that we're getting closer to 40. Husbands, you gotta love them, but sometimes they get on my nerves. But let's get into it. Now, these first couple episodes, we are meeting these women. Okay. Season 1. All right. Now, I want to get into talking about each of them respectfully. Okay. What is really going on here? Each of these women are redefining life. Some of them post divorce, still in a relationship. Some of them cheated first, but so deep into what their husband's doing, not knowing you, girl, you cheated first. Okay. You was outside. And as we go through different transitions, divorce is not a death, y'all. For some people, it's a new beginning. You might really find yourself outside of your marriage, divorce, happy, having peace, limiting once again the access that people have to you. Okay. Now looking at Latoya Luckett, okay, she reminds me once again, all these people represent Tyler Perry knows what he's doing. She represents to me sometimes people who are in the church and think the church is the end all be all. My man can't be doing nothing. Okay. And it's these heathens always trying to come up over here and take our kingdom. But she's so enthralled into church, putting on an act like their marriage is put together when it's really not. And I knew from the beginning the way he was talking to her, okay, and the way he was making plans for this event that I have not gone to yet. Okay. When they were talking and he said it was somebody I was gonna be at the event. And he said, I want him next to me. My spidey sense. Okay, this is gonna be one of those church situations where he appearing to be a man of God, but behind closed doors is not the girls, it's not the women, it's the men's that Rashida gotta look out for. But she is so caught up in appearing Christ-like, church-like, that she is unhappy. But God says, I must walk this path. God says all these things, but it ain't no perfect marriage. And I think it also shows you how you can be lonely and single in a marriage. And so many people are lonely and single in a relationship. And the level of grief that comes with that also. Because we don't talk enough about grieving people while they're still here, grieving relationships while you're still in them, girl. Grieving it while you're in it. The thoughts that you had, the memories you wanted, the future you thought you were going to have, the marriage you thought you were going to have. But no, he continues to put her down over and over again. But you know what they say? God says I'm supposed to stay. God says this is marriage. And there's all these Tyler Perry shows, there's always a religious overtone. But this is a lot of people. The kids recognize we tired of y'all going to church, acting like it's all good, but all y'all do at home is argue. And so when she come in, they on their phones, they're not paying attention to her because she's pouring so much as a woman into the church, into her husband, that I wonder how them kids feel. And I wonder if as we get more into the episodes, these Tyler Perry shows, the kids always got their double lives. Greenleaf, okay? Side note, I miss the days of OWN when they had real TV, real dramas. Okay, let me know in the comments in the chat if you missed that too. But these kids, I'm sure, are gonna have these double lives, these preacher kids, these church kids, just like we always see. But Latoya, to me, is someone who right now is so into protecting the church that she's losing other things. Even in her friendships, in the sisterhood, she has to make it seem like things are right. And the show also portrays how sisterhood is both nurturing and messy, y'all. Friends can mirror our wounds and our growth. Look at the friends you have around you. Do they mirror growth or do they mirror wounds? And do friendships always mean ride or die? Can you have boundaries in these ride or die friendships? Okay. Now let's move on over this one. Geneva. Career oriented. Happy in a marriage. Making money. The big house. Her kid go to a private school. Okay. But I knew when they rolled up to that pickup line to pick up her daughter, and the drop off pickup lane was being very messy. Okay. I'm like, oh, you're the one who on the outside, you gonna appear like you got it all together. Okay. Your marriage is solid, right? But I knew when I saw that lady giving that little girl to her in the car, I'm like, oh, her husband be there with the other lady doing the pickups. Everybody at the school know he creeping but you because you're so caught up in your career. And sometimes in relationships, people have to sometimes sacrifice. And that's something we also don't talk about is sacrifice in marriage. Can it be that two people can have a career? Or does one person have to sacrifice? What is it that people see on the outside compared to what is happening in your relationship and your marriage? Successful, ambitious. Can we as women have it all? Okay. But we see, I believe in episode 2, she got her own secrets. Okay. Now she dipped out about what, 6, 7 years ago? And that man was lusting, missing her. And now let me know, because I was kind of like, okay, did her and her husband, have like some escapades, some freak offs with old boy and his wife before they got divorced? Or were they just in a friendship group who would travel and do things together and she slept with old boy? Okay. But she also doesn't know how to turn off work. Pay attention. Because sometimes you are so ingrained in your career, you don't know how to turn it off. Now her daughter starts to make these comments about the pretty lady and the dolls. And ask yourself, if you were in the same situation and your kid was like, daddy kissing the pretty lady, you gonna be able to turn it off and be like, oh, she just making that up? Or would you do the same thing? What pretty lady? Show me them dolls. Who he kissing? What's her name? Okay. Now her friend is saying that she's doing too much and that she's a child and don't push too hard. But my daughter got the ticket to some tea, some information. And she is so caught up in who her husband is messing with, but her secret too. Who that little girl daddy? Okay? Who that little girl daddy? And we don't talk enough about women also stepping out of relationships. And some of y'all feel like this actress, Kadeen, should have never done this because she has a good marriage and being on this show is like a bad omen and you're playing with fire. Art does not always have to imitate life. But I wonder, what are the boundaries here between I want this information and this is my child, and the accountability? Because I've been doing some things too. But I think there's a lot of deflecting and not really a lot of accountability thus far. Okay, I could be wrong, like I said. Okay, but we see the husband and the man are friends. Oftentimes in relationships, when these kind of things happen, we see that the wife is normally friends with the mistress. So I love the switch around because we don't see that this much in TV shows and stuff. But she decided, oh, let the nanny take this kid out my face. I'm going down to that school to see who this little girl is. Okay. Who is this little girl? Who my man talking to? And she knows how to put energy into certain things. Is she putting that same energy into her marriage? Because I think they were planning a trip to Italy or something like that, and she is checked out. She's so focused on what he is doing, not recognizing her lie is walking around the house playing with toys. Her own marriage is unraveling. And I'm curious to see oh, more episodes to come. Now, this one I kind of got my eye on. Because right now she's the innocent one of she's been through the divorce and she knows how to give all her friends advice. But what about you? Okay, she's a full-time realtor by trying to pull the pieces of her life together as a single mom. This to me is the strong friend. She went through her divorce, but she's doing on the outside very well, trying to navigate single parenthood. But this is a friend you have to check on. The one to me that's suffering in silence. Because I have to portray like I have everything together. Now they all do that very well of the theme of I have it all together. But this one right here, cut, is something about her that I'm looking forward to kind of, all of the typical things, the church lady, the well-to-do lady, the supportive friend over here, the assistant, and then the crazy friend. We gonna get into her. I love her. Okay. But this one is the one that gets lost in the mix because everybody around her thinks that she got it together. But I think that there's some emotional avoidance. It's just something about her that I want to keep my eye on. Because in these first two episodes, you don't really see her background. You see her being more supportive and being there for her friends. But girl, I got my eye on you. Okay. This one right here. Right here, cuz this one. Naomi. Okay. This one shows you can have so much money and still be unhappy, still be hurting. She's a firecracker. Tough on the outside, soft on the inside. She is hurt. I don't want to call her broken, but she is so obsessed with this man that even though she has $37 million, she is still lonely. She is still lonely and wondering what he is doing with his life. So much so, she done hacked into his accounts. She didn't hire somebody to come over and please her. This one is the one you call when you want to break them windows, when you want to get rid of a body. This is the one. Okay. Now she's going through this divorce, and I don't really know if it's a good idea to have your friends work with you in the sense of, Kadeen being her attorney. I don't know if that's really a good idea. But I wonder if she's on Crash, try and get even with her husband. And can she lay down the hard, tough exterior and at some point enter her soft girl era and recognize I don't always have to be tough. But I see her as someone who's probably been fighting her whole life and never thought she would get into a marriage where she also had to fight. That her home was supposed to be safe. Her husband was supposed to be her safe place. But he went and fucked her over like everybody else does. Now, the sex scene was funny. It was very comical. But she herself has to learn that, do I wanna win the war and fight the battle at the cost of what? Do I wanna lose myself in my hurt, in the trauma from this divorce that I'm going through? She is always on ready, okay? Throughout the, episodes, we see how they're all coping through some of them anger like her, some of them through humor. We see both these things, the duality of humor and anger through coping, which we see a lot of in the Black community, is that we cope through humor. But I think coping through humor also masks unresolved pain. Is it healthy coping or is it escapism? Now, the difference is that, distracting yourself versus escapism. Do you ever go back and address the problems, what's coming up for you? That is escapism if you don't ever go back. Distracting yourself a little bit is okay, but going back, okay, going back. And in some ways, all of them having careers can be a part of reclaiming power. But I also wonder if it's a distraction. Is being busy a trauma response? Okay? Is being busy a trauma response? Productivity, the conditioning that you always have to be doing something. Jennifer, to me, for some people, is going to be the most relatable, probably, character. They said she's a peacemaker. It's interesting that I think with her relationship, she's going through what a lot of women go through. You love the man, but he really don't want to work. He always quitting the job. It's up to you to hold it down. He wants to be a creative. Okay? And how much is enough? Can love get you past him not doing nothing, you being the breadwinner, you being the provider all the time, and having to go through these like, I quit, I quit, I quit. I really don't want to work. I want to be a rapper. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to go buy an 18-wheeler and drive it across state lines. People, and it's good to see the difference here. Normally, you see them talk about women getting caught up in being an influencer in this era of influence, quitting their jobs, moving their kids to different countries. Wasn't it last year or a year before a woman quit her job and ended up in a shelter with her kids? I think in Texas because she wants to be an influencer. But I love the spin that we're seeing the same thing with a man this time. And it's not that he want to be a rapper. At least I haven't seen that thus far. He wants to be a creative. How old is too old, y'all, to be a creative? Okay, how old is too old? Now she is Rasheda's right-hand woman. I think she also carries some secrets. And it's interesting how all the women are not really open and entirely and vulnerable with one another. And that's also a layer of sisterhood, giving people just enough. Giving people just enough. Do you truly open yourself up to your peers, to your friends, to your family? Or do you give them just enough? Do people really know you? Are like these women, are they fostering relationships with the mask you are wearing, with the person you are presenting as? And the real person goes home hurting, lonely, grieving. Do people really know you? But we're going to watch all these women go through different layers of divorce. And what does healing look like when it comes to divorce? Do you go through the stages of grief? Do we talk enough about the struggles of divorce, grief and divorce, and how it feels maybe at times when your friends' relationships are not thriving? They're going through a divorce, but you're happy. How does those different life events impact the identity of the relationships you have with them? There is so much pressure to me in female relationships to have it all together, to not be deemed weak, to not be vulnerable, to not let people fully into your life because you've been hurt, because of your trauma. Oh, my mom always said, don't let no woman really into your life because they're gonna take your mans. Okay. And how we also bring in our mother wounds into female relationships. Do you think that these women can really truly get to a point of vulnerability, open up to one another, and look at, in some ways, accountability and how they contribute to their relationships? But I'm curious to see how all this is gonna come together. Okay. I haven't got to this event that's gonna be at the church. I just started episode maybe 3. Okay. Can friendships withstand life transitions? What's gonna happen when it come out that the pastor, to me, sleeping with a man? He keying on the phone with a man. Okay. Will Kadim's secret come out? When will it come out? But does this represent us? I think it does. Different layers of us. All 5 women to me represent different places we have been in, where we are today, what we are trying to get away from. Do you see yourself in any of these women? Okay. Now, of course, I'm only at the beginning, y'all. Okay. I'm catching up. The hype got me. The suggestions got me. Yeah, we might do some members only lives discussing the show. So make sure you join the membership. You turn on the notifications because I know the drama is about to spill over. But what you got this video? What'd you kind of learn about yourself? What came up for you? You know? But yeah, these individual women represent different parts of ourselves, things we have gone through. Even if it's not a marriage, it could have been just a relationship you've been in, a friendship that you have been in that you're trying to navigate. And ask yourself, do people get the real me or do they get the masked version of myself? Masking as in, I can't look hurt because then I'm weak. Can't take my shield down because I've been hurt before. I don't want people to know that in my marriage, I'm suffering, that I'm single in a marriage. My husband doesn't do much for me. I am a single woman functioning in a marriage with a ring. There's a lot of women who are going through that. Okay. But I'm going to watch the next couple episodes so I can be caught up, girl. But yeah, it's good. It's good. Let me know your thoughts. Come into the chat. Break down y'all walls. Okay. Let the wall down. Not all the way. But step out of your comfort zone. Allow yourself to heal from some of these old relationships. Is it a season for you time to maybe let go of your marriage? Maybe let go of a relationship you've been thinking about? Do these shows kind of foster insight and help you see maybe I can let my relationship go? Maybe I can walk away from this marriage. Maybe divorce does not have to define me. All right? Let me know because we can talk about it and I will see you guys in future episodes. All right. Bye.